Yo, what up, what up, what up, and welcome back to Pnoid News. How y'all doing today? It's a beautiful day. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do some things today. You know what I'm saying? My boy, he got trial. And you know how I am, man. I'm about the fam, so I'm gonna head down there, you know what I mean, about 9 o'clock, sit in the courthouse with my brother and try to show some support. You know how these things operate. But just in case y'all are wondering what happened to the last two videos I put out, you know what I'm saying, the doxing joint and the dip about the doxes and scat porn joint, the live stream we did, you know what I'm saying, I think Sunday night or whatever it was. I made a deal, you know what I'm saying, I think, you know what I'm saying, it was a good deal as far as things is concerned. For one of the participants of this to stand here and, you know, help and get my brother, you know what I'm saying, gaming and yelling, 100 fucking followers on fucking Twitch. And well, in one night, you know what I'm saying, I said, if you get him to 100 people, you know what I'm saying, I'll take the videos down for you, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? They was like, oh, you know, whatever, right? And so, you know what I'm saying, they hit the 100 videos, so I decided to take down my videos. Is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want nobody to be mad about nothing, but, like, I wanted to make sure, you know what I mean, that y'all understood what was going on. You know what I mean? That we out here trying to do positive things. And I just want to say, like, legitimately, let me put this out here like this. If this is what somebody can do in one night, imagine what somebody can do, you know what I'm saying, with a week. Imagine what we all could do for each other if in one night, you know what I'm saying, we picked up gaming, you know what I'm saying, an extra 20 followers on Twitch. So, you know, he has more people watching him. You know what I'm saying? He has a better time, and he's being, you know what I mean, helped out more. You know what I mean? That's what this family's about out here, right? It's what we're about doing, about making life better. So, but today, our video is on right to repair, right? And, you know what I'm saying, this dude is Rossman. You know what I mean? He's been kind of leading the fight on this as far as things is concerned. We're going to stand here and we're going to check out, you know what I'm saying, his video or whatever, you know what I mean, and react to it a little bit and have a conversation because this is something that I actually care about. And it's something I've been talking about on my channel for a long time. And, you know what I mean, I kind of want to support him and put him out there. I'll put a link in the chat. I'll put a link for gaming's video in the chat. Make sure you go sub. Make sure you guys have the notification bell rung for all videos from my channel because YouTube, you know the deal, man. Like, yo, they like to bang us. It is what it is. So let's rock and roll.
How's it going? Today I'd like to discuss the Massachusetts Automotive Right to Repair Bill from last year, it potentially getting overturned on a technicality, and why I think we may be very close to a new Tea Party. So this is a Massachusetts Question 1 Right to Repair Law Vehicle Data Access Requirement Initiative. I spent a lot of time last year talking about this. The absolute too long didn't read is that in 2012 Massachusetts passed an Automotive Right to Repair Bill so that an independent mechanic would still be able to work on your car, get access to the diagnostic and troubleshooting codes so they could fix what's wrong with your vehicle.
Now, let me say this, right? I think it's kind of important to mention this as far as things is really concerned because I'm going to keep it a buck with you. You know what I'm saying? Number one, this dude does run a shop, you know what I'm saying, that works on cell phones and laptops and things of this nature. But on top of that, I'm actually privy to, you know what I'm saying, some of like the ASEP, you know what I mean, which is the Automotive Certification, blah, 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 blah shit, right? Because I actually went to school for this stuff. And legitimately, like, you still have to pay for like all the programs and stuff that they send you, right? And that's kind of important to understand, right? So like when you, every year when they bring a new car out, like you have to pay, you know what I'm saying, like $1,000 or whatever it is for all the diagnostics and all the like manuals and the wiring diagrams and things of this nature so that you can continue to work on the cars. They sell them to shops for $1,000 a clip, which is complete and utter bullshit. It should just be, you know what I'm saying, open source for individuals so that people don't fuck up their cars. You know what I mean? That, like, you know, especially for people who are certified to work on things, it should be something that is offered so that, you know what I mean, like the warranty is still honored, things of that nature. But all right, let's keep rocking and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and hear them out.
This way, you would not be stuck going back to the dealer every time you had a check engine light come on. Now, this law, it had an exemption in it for wireless data. So what happens when cars start doing more and more of their diagnostics and data transfer wirelessly rather than wired? Well, it means that, in this case, that would mean that your independent mechanic would be screwed. If they're doing all of the diagnostics wirelessly going into the future, and he only has access to tools that allow him to talk to the car wired, well, shit out of luck. You gotta go to the dealer. So this bill was passed to remedy that problem and close that loophole. And as you can see, it had overwhelming support. 75% in favor, 25% said no. So 3/4 of the voting population said, yes, I want.
Well, let me say this, right? Where this wireless stuff comes from, you know what I'm saying? It's mostly in like Teslas at this point, you know what I mean? And I think like Mercedes and BMW might do some of that, but like it's mostly Teslas where the vast majority of updates that they're doing to their codes and things of this nature are going over the, going over into wireless territory. And these companies have been fighting the right to repair laws because even back as far as Henry Ford, they've stood here and had the mentality of like, yeah, we'll keep your car cheap. You know what I'm saying? But, on the same point, I'm going to make sure you're going to bring it back to me to do all the repairs. It's something like 80% of all, like auto money is made is from like actually like repairing and, secondhand stuff as far as stuff's concerned, like, repair bills and auto shops and things of this nature. They're the real money makers at a dealership. It's not the guys who are selling cars who are making money at like a dealership. It's the individuals who are doing the maintenance. That's really important to understand.
Independence to be able to fix my car. Now, I talked about a lot of the bad faith arguments that were made regarding this bill last year. I covered it in detail. Here you have a woman in a parking lot. She's walking over to her vehicle, and it's in a dark parking lot. There's no other cars there. There's no people there. There's scary music playing, and when you get very, very close, as they're zooming in on the woman, right as she turns around, it sounds like they hit her with something.
Well, who like most of, advertising and news is actually aimed at. We know this in our neck of the woods, a lot of people don't understand this. The vast majority of way that they get bills passed is through scaring the shit out of women. That's really how we get things passed, and then dudes will simp out behind them. In case you ain't noticed our situation that we've had recently, like your motherfuckers will simp out for a female fast, much faster than, they'll stand up for any dude around them. I keep it 100 with everybody. Everybody kind of catches the same way from Tom Pease. You're right, you're wrong, you're wrong. That's my mentality, but, just keep it there. Let's keep rocking.
It's complete fear-mongering. The idea that if an independent mechanic works on your car, you will be raped in a parking lot. They are not hiding the ball here at all. That is what they are implying will happen. And I said this is ridiculous. And it was ridiculous. And as you could see here, a few months later, they lost. Right to repair won. 75 to 25. Overwhelming landslide.
I want to say this dude has a weird setup. Right? Legitimately. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do a video, lean back in a chair, right, with a cat on the motherfucking arm or whatnot. I'm betting this dude is probably like 3 foot tall because I think his feet are dangling. We got to put that out there just to have that, just to say that as far as things are concerned.
And then, as I covered here, the car manufacturers are fighting right to repair. They are trying to sue to undo it after it was voted into law. And there's a reason that I'm going to bring this up now, even though I brought it up a few months ago. So here it says, a lawsuit filed by OEM trade group Alliance for Automotive Innovation against Massachusetts right to repair law is in court, according to a release from the Auto Care Association. The law, which state voters approved last fall by a margin of 75 to 25%, gives car owners access to in-vehicle data in real time, allows them to have their vehicle repaired at the shop of their choice, the release says. The lawsuit seeks to overturn the law based on cybersecurity concerns, insufficient time to comply with the new data access requirements, and automakers' contention that the ballot initiative is preempted by federal law. The Auto Care Association says in the release that no matter the result of the lawsuit, that it will continue to campaign for the right to repair. If there is a new law that comes out, and you say, I don't think I can comply in time, do judges and lawmakers go, oh, I'm so sorry that we passed that. We weren't considering you. Okay, we'll throw it out. No.
No, that never happens. Like, it's kind of like the government. I don't know, like I'd put the SNL clip up, but I'll be honest with you, every time I do, I get banged, right? But there was this beautiful SNL skit where like they had like big three lawmakers back in 08, 09. They were like, in front of the Senate or whatever. And, the senator looks at him and goes, we have mandated 50-mile-per-gallon vehicles by 2015. So we've done our part. And then the bitch smiles and nods with her eyes closed because that's really what Congress people do. They don't really have a plan on how they get it done. They're not going to fund it, right? But like what they will do is they'll stand here and, like expect us just to comply with all their nonsense. That tends to be how things operate. But large corporations are above, the government. They're above like, the law as far as stuff's concerned, because that's how they operate. They go, oh man, we don't have to, we're not able to comply with this yet. We need time to be able to become in compliance. When in reality, if it was me or you, You know what I mean? And like we were out of compliance with some law, like yo, they would smack the shit out of us, just like they did with that IRS thing. And they said, we don't care whether or not, you know what I'm saying, you got health care. We're going to bang you on your taxes anyway. Nobody's going to catch it any different, except for, you know what I mean, giant ass companies who don't have to comply with things because they can have the ability to lobby, you know what I'm saying, the government for exemptions. You know what I'm saying? It's complete and utter nonsense.
You get fined if you're not in violation with the law. This is not how this works when it comes to ordinary, average, everyday people. But somehow, this is how it works when it comes to Toyota, Honda, Ford, Nissan, and General Motors, all of whom spent millions upon millions of dollars contributing to the coalition that released these commercials that said that if right to repair passes, that you'll be raped in a parking lot.
What time is sunset today?
Today, sunset is at 8:40.
They tried to get this passed through the state legislature, and the politicians overwhelmingly ignored them. So they said, okay, fine. We'll get a pass-through ballot initiative. We'll jump through all the hoops necessary to get this pass-through ballot initiative. They spent $24 million on a campaign because ballot campaigns are not cheap. They got it, you know, they dealt with the language via the state's attorney general. They did all the work that they were supposed to do, and it got passed overwhelmingly. They got hundreds of thousands of signatures, and they were able to get it passed 75 to 25. So it gets passed. And now it may get thrown out by a judge because of a technicality. Oh, we may not, yeah, you want us to comply by 2022? We can't do that. How are we supposed to comply with the law by 2022?
Well, the problem, like, yo, legitimately, like, the problem that, you know, really is in nature, is, like, isn't being stated, is that do you own your property or don't you? Right? In the reality, like, do you own your property or don't you? I mean, because, like, you paid for the car, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you, whatever, and it's not just in just cars, right? This happens in all these technologies, you know, cell phones and, you know, electronics and, you know, lawnmowers, whatever it is, right? Like, it get to the point where, like, oh, you're not allowed, you know, we're not going to release these parts, or we're not going to stand here and, you know what I mean, allow you to work on things, or whatever it is, right? You know, and it goes, do you actually own this or don't you? Right? Because if you own it, you should have the right to be able to repair it. And they're like, no, we're not going to let you repair your own shit. You know what I mean? Unless you want to manufacture your own parts. You know what I mean? Or you have it, you know what I mean? Go out of warranty and things of this nature, right? Like, yo, we're going to force you to come to like where we are, and you're going to pay the amount of money that we're going to tell you to pay in order for you to fix it. Like, no, that's not how this works. This is America. This isn't Europe. You know, and this is really the problem that we're running into. And I'll be honest with you, 90% of this problem, like real shit, is it's the inability of companies to be able to raise prices, right? This is why, like, Americans can't get a raise. This is why, like, you know, wages aren't going up, but, like, yo, you're not having prices go up for these goods on the same point, right? Like, yeah, cars have been jumping in price as far as things are really concerned, but the truth of the matter is that, like, so has the sheet metal, and so has the aluminum, and so has, like, copper, and all the things the car is made of. That's really where the price is going, right? The cost of manufacturing, the robotics, the engineering, the safety stuff, all these type of things, right? And so, like, these manufacturers as a whole are looking for ways to, you know what I'm saying, generate more revenue instead of, you know what I'm saying, becoming more efficient, instead of, you know what I mean, having more consumers buy things because there's not more consumers being born, right? This is the problem that we're going to see popping up inside of the economy as a whole due to the fact that the birth rate, you know what I'm saying, is below replacement everywhere. So there's less of a market. So they're trying to tighten up and find a way to stay profitable. But the truth of the matter is they need to raise prices. Everybody needs to raise prices. That's how this works, right? Like, yo, Frito-Lay right now, the union workers are out here striking because, like, you know, the guys are working 7 days a week. Some of these individuals haven't had a day off in 4 months, right? And they're being told that they're going to work. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, yo, like, yo, these people, like, dudes have died, literally just passed, like, fell over and died on the line, right? And they made them carry the body out, right? And this is all kind of tied together. This is the fact that, like, Frito-Lay doesn't want to raise prices so they can hire more workers. It's truth. That's reality. That's what's really going on, right? It's the fact that, like, yo, Americans, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, need a break. We're not slaves. Like, yo, we're not robots, and they want us to be robots, and we can't be. Right. And so with them not being able to raise prices, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, man, well, people will buy less chips. I'm like, well, people are going to buy less chips. Like, you're going to have to figure out a new, you know what I'm saying, a new system as a whole, like, because none of this stuff works anymore. The idea that you have an ever expanding market is gone. That doesn't exist. You know what I mean? You're going to have to come up with new shit, better shit, easier ways to do things, or cheaper manufacturing methods, or we're going to have to tell the government, like, oh, fuck these safety standards, you know what I'm saying, on these cars. And that's one of the problems as well. Like, again, the over-regulation of the industry. Like, there's just so much stuff. And you go, oh, man, these guys making $35 an hour to put a lug nut on a tire. I'm like, bro, that's 70 grand a year. That's not that much money in the end of the day. And by the time Uncle Sam's done turning around on your tax ass, you know what I'm saying, taxing shit out you, you're around 40. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, then again, your house costs $400,000 at this point. So really, how much money are they making? You know what I mean? That's the real question. Like, you want to build a middle class? You know what I mean? Because like, yo, there's so many things holding all this back. And I think one of the linchpins is like the Fed buying up these MBS products and not letting go of them, because the housing market needs to collapse so the individuals can afford homes. If they can afford homes, you know what I'm saying, at a much lower price, you can get more workers. Get more workers, you know what I'm saying, you can lower the wages. Once you lower the wages, you can, you know what I mean, stay here and have the opportunity to have, you know what I mean, like the ability to not worry about stuff like right to repair, because you're going to be making money again. Things become more profitable, right? It's that simple. It's a basic thing. But like the thing is, we have this ideology that, you know what I mean, stuff should be ever expanding. Well, let's keep rocking though.
2022 that got passed in 2020. You've only given us a year and a half, 2 years. You've only given us 2 years to allow independents to be able to access the diagnostic data coming out of the vehicle. How could we possibly give independents access in 2 years? Listen, this law is inconvenient for us. It's really inconvenient. Can you just throw it away? Now, the reason I bring this up is because there's about 30 days until we get a decision on this. And there's good reason to believe that a judge actually throws this out after 75% of the population voted in favor of it, because the automakers are angry and salty. And this is a microcosm of what's wrong with our country. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, a Libertarian, Republican, a Tea Party Republican, a Social Democrat. Virtually all groups of people in this country can be united and shake hands on the fact that they don't want to get their car fixed at the dealer because the dealer rips them off. They want the ability to choose who works on their car. They don't want the person who they want to work on their car locked out of it because they don't get access to the...
Let me keep it a buck, man. I'll take my car to the dealer. Because I'll be honest with you, like, yo, local mechanics do a really bad job. They're really not good at what they do anymore. It's not like back in the day, like, when you had mechanics that knew what they were doing. Like, I've had mechanics where, like, you know, they stood here and they, like, you know, like, I had to have my tie rods replaced, you know what I'm saying? And, like, they go, oh, man, like, you know, they go, oh, man, the shock exploded and da-da-da-da and all this stuff. And I'm like, why is that my problem? And I go, oh, yeah, man, I've seen pneumatics explode before, you know, I work at a mill. She goes, oh, it's not funny. The guy almost got hurt. And I was like, how is this my problem? Why are you making this my issue? Right? And they go, well, you had to go take it to get an alignment. I was like, wait. You took apart my suspension without having an alignment machine? Why did you even, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, take this car as a whole, right? Or the last time I took my car somewhere, it cost me nearly $900 to get a fuel pump, you know what I mean, and a couple of lines repaired on my truck. And I told them exactly what was wrong with it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, I walked in there, it was like, I don't know what's going on. It smelled like gas. Like, I knew what it was. I was like, yo, look, man, the lines on top are rotten. You know what I mean? Like, it just, these have these issues, you know what I'm saying? Because they had to drop the tank and the fuel tank's on top. And so, like, dirt and debris and shit gets stuck on top and it rots out these plastic lines that they put on. Right? But, like, you know, it cost me $900 in 3 or 4 days in the shop. Right? So I just started taking my shit to the dealer. I'm like, yo, fuck that. Fix it right. You know what I mean? It's like, I went, where did I go? I took my girl's car for, what was it? I think it was inspection, the original inspection for it, right? And legitimately, like, it all passed, you know what I'm saying? It was all ready to rock. So I just took it like a Meineke. And, like, legitimately, like, I told them to fix the wheel because the wheel had a bad sensor in it or whatever. You know what I mean? And they go to fix the wheel and they're taking the rim off, they're taking the tire off the rim to, you know what I'm saying, replace the valve and, you know what I'm saying, do the little electronic thing that they do or whatever it is. And the dude ripped the tire in half on the thing and then had to go and drive. I was there 7 hours waiting on my fucking car. Right? Yo, legit. Like, just take it to the fucking dealer. Like, yo, these motherfuckers know what they're doing. And I mean, and they'll give you a loaner. Like, yo, just like, You know what I mean? Me personally, that's my mentality. I got it. Like, if you have a nice shop that, you know what I mean, does good work, good for you. You know what I mean? But I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? I ain't found that around here in a while.
Device that they paid for. As the commercial said last year for Right to Repair, it's your car, it's your data. And if your car has data after you paid $30 or $40 or $60,000 for that car, you bet your ass that you should be allowed to have whoever you want access that data that's being stored in the vehicle that you fucking paid for. And if you're able to go through the legislature and get ignored, if you can go through the ballot process, all for it to get tossed out by a judge because someone at Ford or GM is salty that they actually have to do some work that may lead to an independent making money on repair instead of them, what are we doing? What are we doing? You can't get it through the legislative process because your politicians ignore you. You can't get it done through the ballot process because it gets overturned by a judge. Like, I don't see how you move forward here without tossing a bunch of tea into a river, if you know what I'm saying. And this is what it's been done before in Massachusetts, and you know, I don't see a way forward here. This is a
well, like here's okay. So like, I don't think we're actually like addressing the logistics of the issue as a whole, right? What needs to happen is that mechanics have these tools, right? And basically they plug in OBD, OBD2, OBD3 systems, or whatever the fuck electronic plug they came out with after OBD2, right? And they all have these programs that they run on these devices that kind of look like a textbook, right? You know what I mean? And basically, when they run the car for codes, it'll tell them exactly what's wrong with it. You know what I mean? Because like every part of your car now has a fucking sensor, you know, whether it's a water pump, cam position sensor, you know, your timing belt sensor, your, you know, your oil sensor, your fuel sensor, your air sensor, whatever it is, right? Whatever is wrong with your car, you know what I mean? Like it'll let you know exactly what's going on because your car will be throwing a code. That's why your check engine light comes on. And basically what they're saying is that like, yo, they don't like Chevy and, you know what I mean, Ford and, you know what I mean, Honda and Toyota and Subaru are saying, well, we're not going to give you, you know what I mean, the diagnostic codes, you know what I mean, that you can be able to read this stuff and, you know what I mean, decrypt our encrypted, you know, sensor data that comes out of the car and be able to talk to the computer in the car, right? And, you know what I mean, like, that is bullshit, I'll be honest with you, because, like, what should be able to happen no matter what your car is, you should be able to take your car if it has a check engine light on and take it over to, you know, your Advanced Auto or your AA Auto Parts or, you know what I mean, who's the other one that does that? There's some other guy, O'Reilly's, right? Or AutoZone, and take your car over there and they have like a sensor, and again, it looks like a textbook, you know, with a little computer screen in the middle of it, and like they can hook it up and tell you exactly what's wrong with your car. Like, this is the code it's throwing, this is what this is, you know what I mean, blah, 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 you know what I mean, and then you can look up and find out how much it's going to repair, and then you can shop around to find out how much it's going to actually cost to be able to get it done, right? Negotiate with whoever's going to do it, you know what I mean? That's what's supposed to happen. But like, I'll be honest with you, you know what I mean, that tends not to happen that way. As far as like, well, at this point, you know what I'm saying, they're saying we're not going to give you the data, so you can't be able to understand like what's going on with your car. And so like, if you have one people who can work on your car, which is just that dealership, you know what I mean, from that company, you know what I mean, it creates a monopoly in the market where they can set prices for whatever it is. And whether or not, you know, like we have Hoffman and Faulkner here, you know what I mean, you might have somebody else somewhere else, but I'll be honest with you, like, you know, they've been conglomerating all these auto dealership here recently, right? Which is a big thing. Like like most of the auto dealerships on the East Coast, like between Maine and Florida, are all owned by the same company, right? They have something like, you know, like 1,000 dealers in their network or something like that. It's fucking crazy. Now they still maintain your home name, you know what I mean? Like whatever it was before, right? You know, like if you had, I don't know, like John Wilkes Booth, I don't know, whatever the hell your shit's named where you are. You know what I mean? Ours are all Faulkner and, you know, Hoffman and Sunrise Motors, right? You know what I mean? But all these dealerships are all owned by the same company. So basically they can jack rates and say whatever it is they're going to say and have a monopoly control over things. And you're not going to be able to shop around if they're the only individuals who are able to use the diagnostic tools to be able to know what's going on. That's the problem with this as a whole.
Microcosm of what is wrong with our society, where you can have people from all sides of the political aisle come together in majority agreement on an issue and get absolutely no progress. I'm curious what you guys think in the comments down below. Because again, we are going to hear on this in 30 days. We are going to hear on this on 30 days, within 30 days, if this gets thrown out, after all the work, time and effort, years of blood, sweat, and tears and money that went into this campaign and went into all of this work being done, getting tossed out. I'm really curious. Do you think this is a good thing that there are that many checks and balances? Or do you think that when the overwhelming will of the American people on all sides of the political aisle can get thrown out like that, that there is a serious problem with the way that we deal with politics in this country? You let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. And I really hope in the next 30 days that this does not get thrown out. Because if this does get thrown out, this means that normal, average, everyday people have zero say in anything when it comes to our society. But
well, let's be honest here, all right? Democracy is a god that failed. You ever have a chance to read that Hans Hermann Hoppe book? Fucking goddamn repetitive and boring in the beginning, but it gets better, right? You know what I mean? But like, democracy is dumb. I'll be honest with you. The will of the people is usually pretty fucking retarded. And it should be the market that speaks out about stuff like this. But the problem is our market is completely and utterly fucking broken because of, interference from the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and, what I'm saying, the Congress and, the people standing here putting on restrictions on the individuals and telling, people like, have you seen like the new like trucks, like Chevy Silverados and, fucking Ford F-150s and whatever, like their grill is like fucking 4 foot or 5 foot long from top to bottom. Why is this? Well, that way when you hit somebody, like, you're not bending them in half and running them over. It's the dumbest shit ever. Right? Legitimately that way, like, when you hit them, they go fucking flying forward and they have a chance of living rather than going underneath your fucking car and smashing their head in the ground. I feel like what we should be doing is not hitting people. Don't run individuals over. That's kind of fucking important. Also, so when you run into the back of somebody, like, you don't go over them, right? It's dumb. It's the same reason why, like, trucks have to have, like, all them low bumpers and shit, even though we constantly have to drive in places that, they get hung up on or whatever. It's ridiculous. Like, legitimately, it's ridiculous. But it is what it is. Like, our system is completely broken as a whole, and it needs a complete reset. I don't think the Great Reset's the way to do it, but, it is what it is. But anyway, I think TKMAO put this in a joint for me to talk about. I'm saying, I hope you enjoy this, my brother. This is my take on this. You know how it works. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you got that bell rung. Peace be like one. Later.